Hi and welcome to another game video, and in today's video I'm going to be trying something a little bit different for this channel. I'm taking a look at Doom on the Nintendo Switch versus Doom on the PS4. So the footage you see in the background here for the majority of this video is going to be PS4, and I want to see how that compares to the Switch version, because the Switch is a much lower console than the PS4, and I just want to see how they compare, because they really are completely different in terms of specs. The Switch is really more on par with the PS3, but it was great to see Doom on the Switch. If we're talking sort of before we get into the game, loading times, we've noticed they're roughly about the same. The Switch, oddly enough, is kind of behind a little bit. I don't know whether that's the sort of underpowered CPU, but I would have thought being a completely and utterly sort of diskless console, it would have loaded quicker. So it is an absolutely stunning game on the PS4. Texture wise, within seconds of me playing this game on the Switch, or just viewing this cutscene going here, you can see a big difference in textures. If we're looking at sort of hands especially, and his feet when he was on that table, there is a big difference in the textures. The PS4 just seems very crisp and clean. Even down to the colours on it, they just seem a little bit more washed out on the Switch. I am playing this on a Switch Lite, but the colours just seem a bit more vibrant on the PS4. Everything seems way more crisp. If we're now looking at this monitor, I assume, and it's got some text on it, very crisp text, but when viewing that on the Switch, some of the writing is a little bit blurrier.
Yeah, I can see that top right corner.
Yeah, just everything seems to be a little less
refined.
Yeah. Now I know that you're talking a Switch. When they brought it out on the Switch, it's capped at 32 frames per second versus the 60 frames per second that you get on the PS4 version. I am playing this on a Switch Lite, so it's handheld mode, so I am running in 720. I'm assuming that the PS4 is at full 1080.
I believe so.
And I'm not knocking the Switch version at all, because to get that game on there and have it on there is just, well,
just to even have it run smoothly on a Switch is incredible.
It is, isn't it?
Because the PlayStation can struggle with this sometimes.
So I can see why they limited it down to 30 frames per second. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I personally don't, this is a video we did together as well, I personally don't see what the issue is, or what the whole frames per second thing is about. If it runs nice, and you're not in some kind of online super game, then does it really matter that much? So you've got both Doom and Doom Eternal on the PS4, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and you get both of those on the Switch as well, which is another big feat, I think.
I think my Doom Eternal is download rather than Disc.
board. Yeah, mine is as well. Maybe I'm a little less fussy when it comes to, I'm not going to say game quality, because there's still nothing wrong with the quality of it on the Switch, especially a Lite. But coming from a portable world, the Switch is way more powerful than anything I've had in recent years, so I just don't notice it as much. I mean, it still runs buttery smooth on the Switch.
I mean, glancing over now, I think we've almost both completed that little section there.
Yeah.
Sort of like the tutorial on the mantling and stuff like that. It does, it runs smooth.
But glancing at yours, it is far more...
It's far more crisp.
Yeah. I mean, there's a significant texture drop.
I wouldn't say it's significant. I mean, you're playing on, a smaller screen.
It's significant in the fact that you can notice it, but it does enable the game to play properly. I'd rather have a game that just looks a little bit less, I don't know, than one that just plays terrible. At the end of the day, it's about gameplay. You're talking to someone who's been a huge DS fan, so graphics aren't way up there in my priorities. It's about gameplay. And no matter how well a game looks, if it plays terrible, what's the point of it?
What is the point of it?
They could have said, no, we want this to run at 60 frames per second on the Switch with the same sort of texture quality as the PS4. But what kind of end result would we have got?
Something that just didn't run at all, or ran so poorly that it was unplayable.
Yeah. And I'm sure when they were thinking about it and putting the conversion in, if they could have got it at the same as the PS4, then they would have done, wouldn't they?
Absolutely.
So there must have been hardware limitations that prevented it. And fair dues, because the Switch is way less hardware than the PS4.
Considerably.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch is more PS3 level than it is PS4.
And the PS3 would struggle with something.
Well, the sheer fact that this didn't come on the PS3, even as some sort of a like on both systems, like Wolfenstein did, it means it just shows that there's no way they would have done it. So I think the Switch version is a really decent attempt. So I will attempt to put some matching screen shots from both systems up. See, I am attempting to play this on the Switch at the same time as you're seeing this footage that's the PS4, and you're outside, aren't you?
Yep.
Right, I've just gone in the elevator.
Oh.
So
I didn't realise actually that far ahead.
Well, it'd be quite interesting to see, because you're now outside, aren't you?
Yep.
In what I would class as a really large open world map. You've got a lot of detail, quite a far draw distance on there, haven't you? Or visual distance.
Yeah, I'd say it's quite a relatively high.
So let's see how the Switch handles that. I'm not just going to sit there and... I'm watching you play this while mine's loading again. And yes, yours is superb. I've not seen this bit before. That is a very nice nod to the original Doom, isn't it?
There are secret levels that you can find. What is it, Doom 2?
I don't know. I don't know. Both games are fantastic, but they do kind of blend into one when I'm looking at levels. So I've just hit outside on the Switch and pretty impressed with that actually. Same large style map with a really large sort of draw distance.
Me jumping around, not remember where I'm meant to be going.
So I think we're roughly in the same sort of area.
I think you've got to get the blue key first.
I don't know. I'm standing on top of a cliff at the minute. But it's just super impressive. This is a 2016 game. It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've played it. Personally. I've seen others play it. I've seen you play it.
Seen me play it.
Seen your other brother play it. And it looks just as impressive on the Xbox as it does on the PS4. And I keep going back to that about how impressive it looks. And it makes it sound like I'm not happy with the Switch version, but that's far from it. Because gameplay wise, it's probably one of the most impressive versions, impressive first person shooters on the Switch that I've seen. And I've played quite a few of them already. I'm working my way through Bulletstorm.
Oh, Bulletstorm is such a good game.
It is, but it is a PS3 game, so I kind of expected that to be quite good. The Crisis Trilogy, a genre-defining game that was. And all of them look fantastic, but I have to say, this outshines them in terms of gameplay and graphics.
I have just gotten my first weapon upgrade.
What's that?
It's like the weapon, like modding system. So you on the shotgun you can either get a grenade launcher or a burst shot. I would suggest taking the grenades.
What's that then? What? Alt fire, is that what you call it?
Yeah, alt fire. What was the other? What's the other game we've played? I had alt fire.
I don't know. Is that the game I played and pretty much got through the whole of it without the alt fire?
At all, yeah.
I think that was one of the Resistance.
That's what it was. Resistance.
Amazing games.
Yeah, I was about to say another good set of games.
Good set of games stuck on the PS3. I don't think. Well, they were intending on making Resistance 4 on the PS4, but it never came about. So this is more of a discussion than a comparison. Like I said, I will be putting some sort of screenshots and footage comparisons, but I'm on a Switch Lite. That's a little harder to do than when it comes to capturing game footage. This is purely really for my own what's the difference kind of look. Yeah, there is a noticeable difference in textures. Personally, can I tell that it's 60 frames versus 30 frames? Nope.
I can't either.
And you can't either, so that's
Nope.
not just me being a Luddite. It is a perfectly playable game. I've had no slowdown, no nothing. And it's probably going to be another game that I struggle with because it's really intense, isn't it?
It can get intense the higher the difficulties you're on.
It's definitely a hark back to the original Doom and Doom 2.
That's where you just get in and shoot everything.
Yeah, as much as I like Doom 3, it
felt a bit more puzzly.
It tried to be more dark, more in line with what was going on in the FPS world at the time, rather than just a shoot out everything on the screen, which this, and I'm assuming Doom Eternal, has
definitely gone back to.
For now, this is us comparing Doom 2016, a bit of a talk through more than a direct comparison for the Switch and the PS4 versions of Doom. So I hope you like that, and let me know what you think. Do you agree that the Switch version is just as good? I mean, yes, it has its limitations, but it's still just as good. Like, subscribe, enjoy.